Prince Harry and Meghan Markle once presented Megxit as a bold escape, a move toward freedom, control, and building a powerful global empire on their own terms. And at first, they thought it was working. Massive deals, worldwide attention, and endless opportunity. But in this deep dive, we're going to break down what really happened after that decision, moment by moment, because as the deal started failing and public support dropped, one question now stands above everything. Did the Megxit dream completely collapse by chance, or was it doomed from the very beginning? July 2016, Prince Harry meets Meghan Markle, an American actress, through a mutual friend, and things moved really fast. By 2017, they were already engaged.
It was just an amazing surprise. It was so sweet and natural and very romantic. He got on one knee.
Of course. Was it an instant yes from you?
Yes, as a matter of fact, I could barely let you finish proposing. I said, can I say yes now?
She didn't even let me finish. She said, can I say yes or can I yes now? And then there was hugs and I had the ring in my finger and I was like, can I give you the ring? And she goes, oh yes, the ring.
In May 2018, the world watched their Windsor Castle wedding. Some questioned Meghan's past divorce and Hollywood background, but most people saw a fresh, modern love story. Harry and Meghan looked like the perfect couple, but it didn't last. By late 2018, just months after the wedding, the fairy tale started fading. What looked like a fresh start quickly turned into non-stop negative headlines. Meghan Markle faced intense media scrutiny, and for Prince Harry, it felt all too familiar, reminding him of the pressure that once surrounded Princess Diana right up until her death.
I think one of the hardest things to come to terms with is the fact that the people that chased her into the tunnel were the same people that were taking photographs of her while she was still dying on the back seat of the car. And William and I know that. We've been told that numerous times by people that know that was the case.
Watching Meghan go through that same cycle didn't just frustrate Harry, it triggered something deeper. And while the public still saw a fairy tale, cracks were already showing behind palace walls, raising one big question. If everything was perfect, why was it falling apart so early?
Rightly, because the people of this country don't like the fact that she's stolen our prince. And she's literally brainwashed him, blinkered him, and tied him down to his California mansion.
In 2019, the cracks showed. Prince Harry openly slammed the media during the South Africa tour, while Meghan Markle admitted she was struggling and not okay, proving the pressure was already hitting hard behind the scenes.
It's a lot. So you add this on top of just trying to be a new mom or trying to be a newlywed. It's, yeah, well, I guess, and also thank you for asking, because not many people have asked if I'm okay, but it's a very real thing to be going through behind the scenes.
And the answer is, would it be fair to say not really okay, since it's really been a struggle?
Yes.
As their tour of southern Africa draws to a close, all eyes are now on the law courts back home. In her last speech in Johannesburg, was this a pointed reference?
In a world that can seem so aggressive, confrontational, and dangerous, you should know that you have the power to change it.
A Duchess living a dream life, yet saying she wasn't okay. By late 2019, Harry and Meghan skipped Christmas and stepped back. At the time, it looked like a break, but it turned out to be the breaking point. January 8th, 2020. That's the exact moment everything changed. Without any warning, Prince Harry and Meghan Markle released a statement on Instagram announcing they were stepping back as senior members of the royal family, not through the palace or coordinated press briefing, directly to the public.
The royal family is tonight facing the biggest rupture to the firm in decades.
Harry and Meghan have announced that they're going to step back from being senior royals.
The statement was clear and calculated. They said they wanted to become financially independent. They planned to split their time between the UK and North America. And, most importantly, they proposed a new model, a half-in, half-out role. Still support the Queen, carry royal status, but also build their own commercial brand on the side. A system that had never existed before. Now here's where it gets serious. Within hours, it became clear the palace had not approved this. Queen Elizabeth II and senior aides were reportedly blindsided. The statement had gone public before internal discussions were finalized. Even Prince William was said to be caught off guard, and the reaction came fast. Buckingham Palace released a response saying discussions were still at an early stage. That line alone told everything. The plan Harry and Meghan presented was not agreed upon. From that moment, the situation shifted from announcement to crisis management. Globally, the response split immediately. In the UK, many saw it as walking away from duty. In the US, there was more sympathy, framing it as a couple choosing independence.
They want to focus on raising their family and their charity work and split their time between the UK and North America. Why is everyone flipping out?
Media coverage exploded across both sides of the Atlantic within hours. But even in supportive spaces, one question kept coming up. How do you leave the royal family but still keep part of it?
I think we have a lot of bigger problems in the world to deal with than Meghan and Harry and what's going on in their love life.
Soon, the half-in, half-out idea quickly became the center of the debate. They wanted to represent the crown when needed, keep titles and still sign deals, earn money, and control their own projects.
The decision that I have made for my wife and I to step back is not one I made lightly. It was so many months of talks after so many years of challenges. And I know I haven't always gotten it right, but as far as this goes, there really was no other option. What I want to make clear is we're not walking away. And we certainly aren't walking away from you. Our hope was to continue serving the Queen, the Commonwealth, and my military associations, but without public funding. Unfortunately, that wasn't possible.
That wasn't just unusual, it challenged the structure of the monarchy itself. You don't mix public duty with private profit at that level. So the issue wasn't just personal anymore. It was institutional. Then came January 13, 2020, the Sandringham Summit. Senior royals met to decide the future. Queen Elizabeth II, Prince Charles, and Prince William were all involved. This wasn't a casual discussion, but about setting boundaries.
Queen Elizabeth has ordered a high-level summit for today to hash out the next move for the royal family. It comes after Harry and Meghan's bombshell announcement that they were stepping back from their royal duties.
And the outcome was direct. The half-in, half-out model was rejected. No part-time royal duties or blending monarchy with personal business. If Harry and Meghan stepped back, they would step back fully. Titles adjusted, military roles removed, financial independence required. Now pause and think about that. On January 8th, they announced a vision. By mid-January, that vision was already gone. The plan they presented to the world did not survive the negotiations. And that right there is the first major turning point.
A deal has been agreed on the future of the Duke and Duchess of Sussex, who are to step down as working royals in the spring. Buckingham Palace confirmed on Saturday that Prince Harry and his wife Meghan will no longer receive public funds. They won't use their royal titles either.
And from that moment on, everything changed. They were no longer building the future they announced. They were adapting to a new reality they didn't fully control. And that raises critical questions. If their original plan was shut down within days, what did financial independence actually look like for them? Were they ready to build that life from scratch, without the system they had just left behind? And more importantly, did they expect the palace to agree, or did they believe going public would force that outcome? The answer to those critical questions came fast, and it wasn't what people expected. There was no real plan. In January 2020, Harry and Meghan Markle announced financial independence, but at that exact moment, there were no confirmed income streams, no signed production deals, or a clear business structure in place. Independence was announced before it was built.
Then obviously they'd have to, seek new revenue streams. Now, of course, that looks good in theory, but there are potential sensitive areas, particularly in terms of politics. The royal family has to be politically neutral.
That's the first hard fact. They presented the outcome before the system existed to support it. No Netflix or Spotify deal yet. Neither a finalized book contract. Those all came later. So in January 2020, independence was a statement, not a structure. And that raises a simple question. What were they actually relying on at that point? The second quarter of 2020 gives that answer. Despite the public message, they were still being financially supported during the transition period by King Charles. So, while the brand said independent, the reality was still transitional. That gap between message and reality is where the first cracks start to show.
I wrote a piece in which I had spoken to people close to the Prince of Wales to reflect his surprise at the comments that Harry said he was financially cut off. The quote used for me was, the Prince was very surprised to hear that. He's seen the bank statements.
Then came location, and this is where things start moving fast. Recall, back in November 2019, they had already stepped away to Vancouver Island in Canada. But by late March 2020, just as their royal exit became official on March 31, they relocated again, this time to California. 2 major moves in under 5 months. That's not a stable rollout, but an adjustment happening in real time.
Exit. The Duke and Duchess of Sussex will break free from the family March 31st.
Now add the next problem, security. On February 27, 2020, it was confirmed that Canada would stop providing security once they stepped down at the end of March. That created an immediate issue. Royal-level protection costs millions, and suddenly there was no clear answer on who would pay for it. And this didn't stay private. It became a global debate. Canada stepped back. The UK was no longer responsible. Even voices in the US made it clear that taxpayers wouldn't cover it. So within weeks of announcing independence, they had no confirming, and this hit just as hard. Before leaving, they had already built Sussex Royal as their future identity. It was trademarked and positioned as the foundation of their new brand. But on February 21, 2020, that plan was shut down. They were told they could not use the word royal for commercial purposes after stepping back. That wasn't a small change. That removed the core identity they planned to build on.
This source telling us discussions are still ongoing, but those talks will likely end with Harry and Meghan not being able to use Sussex Royal. They have already set up a slick new website called SussexRoyal.com. Well, that moniker appearing to be a calling card of sorts. Now all of that may have to change.
Although this may seem personal against Harry and Meghan, it simply boils down to royal protocol. As non-working members of the royal family, it means that they can't use the word royal in any of their work moving forward.
So now, stack the timeline. January 8, announcement with no finalized deals. February 21, brand blocked. February 27, security funding ends. March 31, official exit. Late March, a sudden move to the US. That's no structured rollout, but a series of reactions happening back to back. And this is where the gap becomes impossible to ignore. They had vision, freedom, independence, and control, but didn't have a system ready to support the move when they announced it. And that created immediate risk. Once they left, the safety net was gone. So the question is simple. Was this a long-term strategy or a bold gamble made first, with the details figured out later? By mid-2020, everything started to shift. The uncertainty from the exit was still there, but now something else was taking shape, a new identity and business direction. And this is where Prince Harry and Meghan Markle began building what looked like a serious global brand. In April 2020, they quietly introduced Archewell, their new foundation. This wasn't just charity work. It was positioned as the center of everything they would do moving forward. Media, production, philanthropy, all under one name. The goal was clear: move away from royal duty and build influence on their own terms. Then came the first major deal. September 2020, Netflix. Reports confirmed a multi-year production deal worth around $100 million. The plan was to create documentaries, series, and scripted content, and the expectations were massive. Royal access, global recognition, and personal storytelling, all packaged for one of the biggest streaming platforms.